Welcome back to
Welcome back.
The Seed and
The Roots.
The Root, where we speak what others only whisper.
Okay.
I'm Dr. Triffy, and I'm sitting here once again with my son, Trey Monaghan, my seed. And together we're not preaching, we're processing.
That's right.
Yeah. Today's episode is one that both of us wrestled with because we brought the topic up and you were like,
Yeah. It was a touchy subject, not just for us, but for, I think, our people as a community.
Mm-hmm. Today we're talking about father wounds.
Mm-hmm.
Father wounds, about the ache of absence, about silence, and maybe disappearance sometimes, or lack of access to our fathers when we're experiencing big milestones in life.
Yeah.
And how that unspoken pain can twist itself into rage, addiction, performance, overperformance, like perfectionism,
Definitely.
Anxiety, for some people, sadness. Today, we want to crack it open and we want to try together.
Yeah. And it may hurt, but it's necessary. It's part of the process. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, for you, is this one a hard one?
I'd say yeah. It's getting easier, but it is a hard one. Just because, that's my father. He's no longer with us on this earth, in the physical.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And today we're going to be talking about that.
Today we're going to be talking about that.
Yes. So, this evening when I came home, I shared with you that, I work in a prison. I work in a prison, and I talk to young men.
Okay.
All day, every day. And I haven't cried during a session in
That's right.
like most of my life. So we are trained as a therapist, as a psychologist, to keep your
hold your
emotions
resolve, right,
to yourself, because you're not the patient. It's the client.
There.
Yeah, you're there to support somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
But this young man went into his story, and as a 30-something-year-old, he is replaying something that he was very afraid of because his father was incarcerated when he was about 7 years old.
Right.
And he was very afraid that he would repeat that.
Same cycle.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Same cycle. And there he is, in and out, and he's finally ready to do some work on it. And I asked him, how many kids do you have? Guess how many kids he's got?
7.
10 kids. And the very thing that he's been most afraid of, he's replaying it. And so we got to talking, and I shared with him that you were telling me that's probably from Job, but that scripture reference where it's like the very thing we're afraid of, often we create it. It's come upon us. Yeah, it's come upon us. But I think from a psychological perspective that we create those experiences.
That negative reality.
That thing that we're very afraid of, we create it. I think the child in us that's unhealed recreates the situation to give it, that part of ourselves, an opportunity to fix it, to heal it. Perhaps. And, I looked at him, he looked at me at a certain point, and I was just like, yeah, but essentially, and something we'll talk about today is what has to happen in the healing process is the adult has to reparent.
Right. The wise adult has to come back and save the inner child.
Save the inner child. So every young brother out there who's perhaps felt like that young man, perhaps who's felt like you, they've probably had to figure it out alone. Many people. This one is for you. Okay? For
Definitely.
every man who maybe never got to hear from your dad, I'm proud of you. This is a sacred space for you.
For
today.
us.
For us.
Yeah.
Yeah, for us today. So, What we're talking about tonight, we want you to take a few things away from this session. How a father's presence or absence helps to shape our identity, our trust, our feelings of self-worth.
Definitely. Ultimately, I say our destiny as well.
Our destiny. What do you mean?
Just for me, and I've seen it happen many times where not having a strong father in the household, it weakens a family unit, you know, and it doesn't allow Black boys in particular to be all of who they fully need to be all of the time. While of course, you know, it's not necessarily set in stone. Like if you just have greatness in you, then it's going to manifest regardless, regardless of what time it manifests.
Right.
But
right. So what you're saying is, regardless of our circumstances,
regardless of the circumstance, you still make it through.
you make it through.
But at the end of the day, having that father figure, a strong father figure, because anyone can be a father.
A sperm donor.
Right, yeah. Anyone can be a father. But to be a true head of the household, that's a difference.
What do you think that's like, you know, like that, being a true head of a household? Something else you shared with me is that one of your father figures, so to speak, you're always speaking today, and he asked you a question about fatherhood. What did he ask you?
This is one of my father's friends, actually, Khalif Johnson, and we spoke today. And he asked me how I personally feel about fatherhood. Like, would I be opposed or willing to have children in the future? And I said, yeah, you know, because when I was young, I had always wanted a son, you know, I guess to sort of give him what I didn't receive when I was growing up.
For example?
Yeah.
For example?
For example, I mean, just times where it's like, I don't know, this may sound kind of corny, but like those times where you see or hear or see in movies where it's like the son's having fishing trips with his dad, camping and stuff like that, you know, or just having more avid support, more in-person support from my father. Yeah.
In person. What kind of support did you get as we talk about that? So what kind of support would you say you got though? Like, what were some of the positives?
Some of the positives, my dad was a very honest person. He always kept it real. Like, we shared that in one of the other lives, how my dad, he was always a very realistic person. He had a sense of humor, you know, but at the end of the day, he always kept it real. He kept it true, not only with us, but with himself. And that's one thing that I definitely cherished about me and my father's relationship. He never lied to me. You know.
So, do you see yourself in him? Do you see parts of you in him?
I do. With the most part, how I'm treating myself now. You know, there was a lot of times when I was, you know, dealing with my addiction, as we shared in the past, when I would lie to myself like it was nothing. You know, specifically about the addictions. As far as their,
as far as how serious it was.
How serious
maybe?
it was. Yeah.
What kind of stories? What kind of stories would you tell yourself? What do you mean by that? Like, you have an example?
Same stories everyone tells themselves about any addiction. Like, oh yeah, I can quit anytime I want to. It's not that serious. It's not really affecting anybody but me. But meanwhile, you're not seeing the behind the scenes or really what's playing on around you, where your family's getting hurt from this, your friends are getting hurt from this, because it's affecting you. And that in turn affects your relationship with everyone around you.
So where you are getting hurt from this, because like you're saying, a lot of people will, in the throes of addiction, it's easy to imagine you're not getting hurt.
Right.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that.
Of course.
Yeah. So something else we hope that you take away is how to forgive the wound that still bleeds, because even if you might have had time to reconcile, to heal the relationship, you know, memories, triggers might show up, and you know, you might become a father and things you couldn't anticipate, right? Say at this age, say in 2 years you're a father, the experience is going to be, like a whole new world, right? So what are you looking forward to? I mean, back to that question from Khalif, what are you looking forward to about fatherhood? Like, why would you say yes? What about it? You said you'd always wanted a son, but
that's the main
what about
thing.
a daughter?
Oh, see, and that's another thing. Khalif, we got into that as well, where he said that while he too wanted a son at first, he said that when he had his daughter, that was really what he needed.
Did he tell you why?
Yeah, because I mean, like when you have a son, it's like you're basically training a young soldier. But with a daughter, you have to have a bit of finesse and care with that, especially as a young black man raising a young black woman. You know, the world is harsh on us,
right?
But especially in breaking generational curses, you know, like I know a lot of young women who suffer from father wounds, and that right there is something that repeats itself in relationships.
Why do you think that shows up, father wounds?
Not just black women dealing with father wounds, but black men dealing with mother wounds. Like you see a lot of black men, they seek out a woman who is a reflection of their mother, you know, and
positive or negative,
both sides, you know, and that's just a generational cycle we have to break.
You know, you said,
or at the very least heal.
Heal. What do you mean when you say the world is harsh on us? Who's us? What do you mean?
Black women.
Black women? You think it's hard on black men?
Black men especially, definitely. But
how so?
Black women, see, look, because you have to realize that at least as far as, actually, I'd argue it's equally hard on us both, just in different ways.
Who are you talking about? Are you talking about that?
Both, no, I'm talking about black men and black women. Because black men, we're seen as rocks, like we don't have heart. We don't have hearts, we don't feel, we're narcissists, when really we just are misunderstood. You know, and black women, you know, usually when there's a split up in the family, the governments tend to take the side of the women. So then that leaves the women with the brunt of raising children on their own, you know, where they'll push the father outside of the household, and then it's just a lopsided family dynamic. You know, we're not able to love and express that love that we have and are as freely as other people are.
You know, I heard when Kobe was at Kobe's funeral, like the big ceremony where everybody was, and Michael Jordan stood up to speak, you know, and he was crying. He was really, his heart was wide open. And he made a statement similar to that, where he's like, black men don't necessarily often get quote unquote permission to feel in public. Yeah, and you mentioned earlier that you think black men are often misunderstood. What do you wish people understood more about black men?
I mean, we're human. That's the main thing. That's the main thing I want people to understand, I suppose, is that we're human. So, I mean, we're infallible. We have emotions. Sometimes we get sad.
You're fallible. So you're
fallible. Well, fallible, right, exactly. Thank you for correcting me. And we're, like I said, we're fallible. We're not perfect beings. No one is a perfect being on this planet. You know, we all have issues. and we deal with them as humans do. You know, some people have a more healed way of dealing with their issues. Some people don't. And that's just people in general. It's
Right,
not about
right. It's
whether
not-
you're
it's not
black
a-
or
right,
not.
Right. So that part of what, of Khalif saying that a little girl helped him to maybe finesse his manner.
Smooth out his rough parts, I guess you could say.
Yeah. And I'm hearing you talk about masculinity without the masking.
Yes.
Masculinity without hiding
Yeah.
your humanity.
Yeah.
Yeah. And really, I'm hoping are you practicing that? Like, where are you along that journey?
I do my best to practice that nowadays. But I'd say that started after I got sober. Because when I wasn't sober, I was basically blunting my emotions.
Gotcha.
You know, with the drugs.
Yeah. So you were
and alcohol.
using
I was
external sources
in order to deal with emotions that I didn't really know how to express or reckon with.
Reckon with? Tell me that
Emotions are
part.
heavy. I'm sure everyone who's felt anger knows that is something that you don't really want to play with.
Right.
Unless you know like how to channel it properly.
Right. Because it could burn.
It can blow up. It can. Yeah. It's like a fire.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But anger isn't necessarily an issue. See, because fire can be purifying and healing too if it's channeled the right way. But a lot of times we don't really know how to deal with our emotions. No one really coaches us as to how we deal with our emotions. No one really tells us, okay, when you're sad, write something down. You know, like go journal. No one tells you when you're angry, you should go exercise. No one tells you when you're dealing with anxiety, go grab a ice cube and hold it. You know, no one tells us these coping mechanisms when we're young. I know no one told me. These are things that I'm learning now that I'm a young adult. So with that, I really want to harp on the necessity of utilizing these coping skills. And first of all, learning and knowing yourself. Because that's one of the most important things. If you don't know yourself, and especially if you don't know your past, you won't know where you're going.
So let me ask you this. So as your mother is sitting here, would you say that your dad and I did not do a good job of teaching you how to feel your feelings?
I wouldn't say that necessarily. I would say that there are certain things that you didn't know how to do at the time. Maybe your parents didn't teach you.
For example.
Like say with dad, like he didn't have his parents in his life to properly teach him, to train him how to be as emotive as I would have preferred him to be with me and my sister. But I can't really fault him for that because that's just something he didn't have to give. If you don't have something to give it, then you can't give it. Excuse me.
Well, how about your mother? So how about mothers and sons? Do you think your mother, me, you think what could I have done differently to teach you how to do that better? And would it have worked given that I am your mother versus your father?
I think that there's only so much reaching out a mother can do to a son, especially when they're dealing with such complicated issues as addiction, that a father can do not better, but different. The effect is different because with a mother, that's your nurturer, that's the one who you look to for emotional comfort and support often. At least it was that way with me and you personally, I believe. With dad, it was more so like he was the discipline factor.
He was the enforcer.
He was the enforcer, but he was also the discipline factor and the coach. You know.
Yeah, that part. The discipline factor and the coach.
So, say I would go to him with issues like, how do I pick up girls? Like I'd appreciate when you would try to teach me how to, you know.
How to be Johnny
How
Bravo?
to do that? No, I mean not even like that, but I mean just like relationships are a very important thing as humans.
So you were saying you would appreciate when I would try, but really,
Dad has experience that I'm looking for from my perspective.
right,
you
right,
know,
right,
that you can't give.
right.
You know, because you have the perspective of the
Of the
receiver.
receiver.
Exactly.
Yeah. Ooh, interesting.
Yeah.
Well, how do we forgive those wounds that still bleed?
I know they say time heals all.
You know, I don't believe that.
I don't believe that too. I think it takes work.
Exactly. I think
You
it's
have to
time
actually
plus
want that.
intervention.
Yeah.
It's time plus things, doing things.
You have to want it.
Uh-huh.
Because until I chose to get real with myself and heal the things that were causing me to use drugs, I didn't get sober. You know.
So, well, you say deal with. So what strategies?
The very same things. Well, I was listening a bit too far ahead with what you were gonna say. But what were you gonna say?
Like what strategies though did you use yourself? Like what helped you?
What helped me was the 12 steps. Alcoholics Anonymous was a big help in getting sober.
What about that?
Just the community. Not just the community, but I'd say the community was, like, by and large, a big part of me getting off hard drugs, alcohol, and dealing with traumas. Because, I mean, the 12 steps, they lay it out in a certain way where it's like you start with the higher power aspect first, and then that surrendering to that leads you into the other facets of being human. Like relationships, drug addiction, making amends, who hurt me, who did I hurt, you know, and just being real, like breaking down all of basically human life on a way that allows you to deal with it and do the inner work.
And something I hear you saying often now, which is a big principle in the 12 steps, is taking life on life's own terms.
On life's own terms, you know, because I mean, it's easy to live life on autopilot.
Like as what do you mean?
Like as if, not even necessarily like nothing matters, but just that, like you're a passenger in your own movie, like you're like a second-rate character,
like you're almost watching yourself.
Depersonalized.
Depersonalization is what it is.
And I dealt with that when I was younger due to the drug use.
That's true.
You know.
Yeah.
So it was like,
Do you
I guess.
think there's any trauma pieces of the depersonalization?
Yeah. I'm still figuring out all of what that is, but
like the trauma of the separation.
And I feel like it kind of started young with the divorce. Like you mentioned in one of our previous podcasts how Tati, my younger sister, she referred to the divorce that happened between me and my mom as us splitting apart. But that just really sounds like soul fragmentation to me. Now that I'm more learned when it comes to stuff like this, therapy and healing and all this stuff, it sounds like the soul is literally tearing apart. Like you take a young child and this is their unit, like this is their tribe at the time. This is all they know. And it's like, now we gotta cut it in half. And now we got things like boys' night, girls' night. Where it's like, we're not dealing with balanced energy anymore. We're dealing with strictly feminine and strictly masculine. But as a human, we have both parts. You know, so.
I feel as if there's something deeper in there, in that the unbalancing, right? The unbalancing, or the like leaning too far one side.
It creates a distorted masculine or a distorted feminine. You know, like where, say, and this is, I think, where you have a lot of the issues with men being addicted to drugs so frequently, because we've spoken about this personally, how using drugs, receiving that high all the time, receiving that is a feminine energy kind of thing, to be receiving pleasure all the time.
Yeah, without pleasure, without boundaries and discipline. Yeah.
Like nothing's wrong with pleasure. Like we were born to feel pleasure. We were born to feel good. It's just not only what you do to feel pleasure, but what the costs are of that pleasure.
Oh, powerful, because the masculine energy is supposed to say, this is too far.
Right.
The boundaries, right? This is not good for us. Yeah. So the discipline part, the walls, like that part where like the enforcer part,
right,
was not engaging itself.
Right.
Was not engaging.
Yep.
You were not engaging. So also, you know, just generally speaking, men who are using are, again, they're in that pleasure, just pleasure, receiving pleasure,
right,
as opposed to giving. You're not giving anybody any pleasure with drug use. You're the one absorbing, receiving.
just taking.
And masculine energy gives,
Pours into.
So the energy was coming the other way. So now in recovery, you gotta push it. No, I choose, I do, yeah. Instead of I'm just sitting receiving.
Of course.
That's a.
It's the natural flow of things. Because once you stop receiving so much or looking to receive so much pleasure, or really just energy in general. It's
What can I get? What can I get? I
first
need
of
more,
all,
I want more.
First of all, you become a reservoir of that same energy that you have been taking in. That's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing.
Tell me more, because I just saw it as bad. I just saw it because if
what I'm saying is the same energy that you've been taking in. You become
You're collecting it.
You're collecting it.
That's
right.
what I saw, which was bad. So
But
for me, depending on the thing you're taking in, that's a terrible reservoir.
Right.
Yeah.
Or a good one.
Or a good
depending on what you're taking in.
Right.
You know.
But in that context of if the pleasure you're taking in is substance based.
Of course that's a negative. But we know this.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But if that pleasure you're taking in is like exercise, you're eating well. You're treating yourself like as if you matter. You know.
Which is what I see you doing right now. I see you getting up 5 o'clock in the morning, going to the gym, going to the sauna. I see you focusing on, hey, we're not eating all of this junk food. You're
trying not to.
I don't try not to, but you're regulating even my diet.
Yeah, see. Look, my thing is, like I told you, you know, I've taken a lot, not only from you, but from the people I care about a lot in my life. So, if I still have you in my life, that means I want well for you.
Yeah,
I still want well for you, even if we're not together in the physical. But the main thing is just like relationships. Time on Earth is limited. We have a limited time on this planet, and you know, my desire now is to do well with the relationships that I have entering into my life, because I didn't always used to do that. And that's a lesson that I had to learn, is like, you don't always get a second chance with someone.
Right.
You know, and that's okay. You know, while it may hurt, you know, it's always a lesson to be learned in that.
That's powerful. So really, we just talked about strategies to rebuild the self from the root.
From the root. Yeah.
From the root, you know, to the fruit. Yeah. We've got to do things to regulate our nervous system again.
Yes.
Yeah. So where it went off path, say with the breaking and the splitting, the fragmentation,
right. The depersonalization and everything that came along with that.
Yes.
You know, And that's really a part of like what we were talking about earlier with the reparenting of the inner child. Intentionally this time though. It's not like you're just coping
Right.
and then
Right.
just dealing with life as best you can, but you're
Right.
dealing with life on life's terms, but you're doing it intentionally, purposefully,
with discipline, even when it hurts,
even when it hurts,
even when you fall
exactly
off the path,
and then you just get back up.
Yeah,
you have to get back up. Yeah.
So that teaches that brings things back into balance. So those energies start coming back into balance, and that's something. It brings it back to that session today with that young man.
Yeah.
That's what has to happen, where the adult intentionally does this work with the child part for everybody's sake, for the child part that's still in there, right? That's bleeding still, that's confused, doesn't know what to do, and for the adult that's suffering the consequences until that part is healed and matures. But it's the adult in us that has to do that, to bring that healing, self-parenting, spiritual restoration. You mentioned a higher power.
Yes.
How is that? Tell me more about that part, and like the role and the importance of.
I'd argue that that's the most important part, because it's a part of knowing yourself. Think about it, like your higher power is supposed to be a perfect representation of both your father and your mother. The perfect representation, the divine representation of that. So, and that's where I actually feel like I started to find God more after Dad died.
Yeah.
Because I was looking for that father figure in these different people, but they could never fill that role of a fully integrated, fully whole being that I needed in my life to help me heal,
to reset,
to come back to center.
Yeah. So I'm going to share something that you've said to me sometimes. You've said you almost feel as if Dad was a sacrifice, like that sacrifice.
He was a martyr.
He was a martyr.
So that I could heal. I do feel like that, because around that time I was still dealing with addiction. I was in a rehab at the time. And I'll never forget that day when you just popped up out of nowhere, out of the blue, and just laid it on me. It was like, yeah, Dad, he killed himself. That's a tough thing for someone who's already had father wound trauma to hear.
Right.
Because it's like that's the closing of a chapter right there, and there's nothing you can do about it but just accept it, take it on the chin, and be like, okay, yeah, this is something that I'm never going to do myself. Because I realize now not only how it affected me, but how it affected my sister, my siblings, my mom even. Even though they were divorced, my mom, she was still crying for my dad's loss, and crying for the loss that me and my sister had to go through as a result of his suicide. So, yeah.
But then you say, that idea that it's not just what's happening to me.
It's what's happening for me.
It's happening for me.
Exactly.
Because that allowed you almost like to focus now.
To pivot on myself.
On yourself and your higher power. To look towards that perfect representation of masculine and feminine. Yeah?
Yes.
Of mother, of father. Yeah? Without anything blocking. To be able to see and lean in.
Right.
What are you finding as you're leaning in more and more?
As I'm leaning in more and more, I'm finding out that self-care is a representation of how the Most High sees us.
It's love for us.
It's God's
I
love.
love that.
Because, if we can't love ourselves, and that's one of the first, I think that's the second commandment. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. But if you don't love yourself, how are you going to love other people?
How are you going to love that neighbor?
How are you going to love your neighbor?
Yeah. So you're almost failing. You've already failed that commandment.
Yeah.
because you cannot love.
You can only love.
Can't give what you don't have.
Exactly.
Yes.
You can only love others from the depth and magnitude from which you love yourself.
For sure. But that's powerful, Terry.
Yeah.
That's powerful. I appreciate you being so open and
yeah. I mean, it's got to be. It needs to be dealt with because at the end of the day, the healing is necessary. The healing work is necessary, and the more that I share, is the more healing that not only I receive, but is able to get pushed out into the atmosphere. So. Yeah.
So that those reverberations, we talked about reverberation of energy. Yeah.
That in a sense is me martyring myself because, I mean, who wants to talk about this type of stuff?
For sure.
And I don't have to kill myself in order for that martyrdom to be felt.
Do you think that martyrdom is a part of masculinity?
I think that self-sacrifice for those we care about definitely is a part of it.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said.
Christ, he was the perfect example in my eyes.
Beautifully said.
Yeah.
Because I think about Grandpa Wawa, as you said that.
Yeah.
Who would get up every morning, 5 o'clock, discipline, every day, and head to his farm.
Yeah.
Every day. And he wouldn't come home until the sunset.
Yeah.
Why? So that all of his kids could get fed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it hurt him. Yeah.
Of course.
But it strengthened him too.
Yeah.
So you saw his body, you saw his muscles on his body, even as he was aging.
Even as an old man.
And you saw his children at his feet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even as an old man, which is something many men lose the opportunity to experience based on what they do when they're younger. So not putting in that work, that martyrdom, that sacrificial love.
Right.
You end up losing out at the end of the journey, but you can create that for yourself. Yeah, you create the results. You create your karma.
Yes.
Yeah, you create your karma with that martyrdom.
Yeah.
Oh, young Turi. Man, Terrence just smiled right there with that, I think, with that insight.
I hope so.
Yeah, because I did.
Yeah.
As your mom, because I did. So, as we close today's session, we hope a blessing to you.
And to all the young boys and young girls who have dealt with father wounds, mother wounds, who've dealt with the loss or absence of that parental figure in their lives, because
a father figure, since we're focusing on that today.
Definitely.
What are you wishing for them?
That they would find wholeness, peace, that they would become a parental figure who can hold space for their children and lead them and guide them the right way. Yeah.
And I pray that they choose to do the work of feeling, right?
Yeah.
That vulnerability and accountability and discipline and martyrdom that comes with bringing the pieces of ourselves back together intentionally, because pain of those experiences can be transmuted into passion, into power, into purpose. So the pain is not a dead end.
Never.
The pain is a portal.
It's a catalyst.
It's a catalyst. Yeah, it's a portal that we can go through to become even better, to become our higher selves, to become our best selves. Yeah. So there you have it, y'all. Thank you for tuning in to listen to us.
Yeah, I pray you all enjoyed this episode. Yeah,
we're calling it Son, This Is Where It Hurt.
Yeah.
Father wounds, forgiveness, and the fight for wholeness.
Yes.
We'll see you another time.
Indeed.
Peace.
Peace.